to start a transition, you have to make a plan and stick to it. People say we've been in a transition for years. To be in a transition, you have to start the transition. It's reactionary. If your direction's always changing, you can't expect to be able to win the league.
Honestly, what was the point in any of this? On Monday morning, Manchester United put out the official statement that Ruben Amorim was no more. Not when he was 15th in the Premier League. Not when he was losing European Cup finals to the team that finished 17th. Not when he was losing to 4th Division Grimsby Town in the Carabao Cup. Not when he was falling out with high-profile player after high-profile player. But when he was slowly showing signs of improvement. 3 points from Champions League positions with his best players unavailable, and he made a snarky comment in the press, hurting the board's feelings.
If people cannot handle the Gary Nevilles and the criticism of everything, we need to change the club.
From the leaked footage, at least Kobe Mainu had a good Monday. I was in the middle of finishing up a video on Chelsea and how they're such an oddly run club, only to be blindsided by this like everyone else in the footballing world. That video I guess will come out next, but the consensus was that it's obvious that Chelsea are a club that are not built to win championships. Of course, they have done so pretty recently and have shown signs of kicking on, but the main business model there is clearly player trading and maintaining player value. It sucks for the fans, but at the very least, we can see where their priorities lie. When it comes to Manchester United, none of us can be sure what they're trying to achieve at all. When they spend months headhunting director and leadership personnel, rearrange their entire inner workings to accommodate a new era at the club, only to fire them for disagreeing with their vision. Brothers, these things should have come up in your research before picking up the phone. Dan Ashworth reportedly cost the club about £4.1 million to offload. After only working for them for 5 months, Ten Hag cost the club about £10 million to offload. United paid Sporting about £10 million to snag Amorim, and based on his estimated salary and the reported belief that his contract will be paid out in full, the club will be down another £12 million or so in compensation, which means United have spent somewhere in the ballpark of £40 million that we know publicly on non-playing staff, mostly just to get them to leave. This is significantly worse than a failed player, for example. These are the people that are supposed to shape how the club plays and operates. And to make matters even funnier, Dan Ashworth is said to have not been interested in signing Amorim at all, opting for safer Premier League tested or English options due to the amount of change the squad had gone through. Apparently, a name he suggested was Gareth Southgate at the time. And while it would be interesting to discuss this, in reality both him and Amorim are gone, so what's the point? I guess, as Erik ten Hag put it,
an era can come to an end.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, welcome back. Like I said, I was putting on the final touches for that Chelsea video this morning and I was so happy, just for a second to be talking about another clown show, only for United to show me that Chelsea, they might be clowns, but United are the whole circus. Just look at these two. You can't write this stuff. They deserve each other. Please subscribe if you haven't, it would mean a lot. We're almost at 400k and I think I deserve it. My favorite DJ is no more. Okay, so why are we here? On the surface, it looks like this decision was brought forward into existence thanks to comments that Ruben Amorim made in his final press conference for the club.
I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach of Manchester United. And that is clear. I know that my name is not Tuchel, is not Conte, is not Mourinho, but I'm the manager of Manchester United.
Now, I understand the frustration of not having your way when it comes to squad planning and management and all of that stuff, but what I don't understand is why he said this when it's been clear to just about everybody what his position was from day one. Here's the announcement in plain writing. United appoint Amorim as head coach, November 2024. Head coach. Adding on to that, we've seen Sir Jim Ratcliffe and so many others attached to the club emphasize this language. No doubt he's been made painfully aware of the distinction behind closed doors way before he signed the dotted line. I can assure you, we don't need anyone to confirm that. So you have to ask yourself what he was thinking here. The most plausible reality here is that something heavy went down behind closed doors that we may or may not ever become privy to. This much has already been confirmed by all the usual sources. It's just the venom that he came out with in that press conference. We don't usually see that from him.
I'm not going to quit. I will do my job until other guy is coming here to replace me.
He directly told the board, back me, or sack me. Buddy was sacked. Was the blowout because there was money reserved for Antoine Semenyo, but when that deal was off the table, he was told it won't be diverted to a midfielder? Is it because the man is sick of Manchester weather and just wants to take his cash and dash? Is it because of the constant phone calls he gets in the middle of the night, only to be met with slow, hard breaths on the other side before hanging up without a word? He knows it's Kobbie Mainoo, but he can't prove it. Was it the three at the back formation? Certainly, according to Sam Wallace of The Telegraph, that is exactly what triggered this. Before the Leeds match, the topic was brought up in an internal meeting, and Amorim apparently saw red. Otherwise, the full justification that we're seeing and that we likely will continue to see as the story goes out is that the club just weren't happy with the progress that was shown by Amorim during this stint at the club. Which is fair enough, that's their prerogative. They can do that, and it's fair if they haven't seen enough progress. But it only really makes sense without the given context that it was reiterated that Amorim would be given the full 3 years of his contract to prove himself. I don't know, man. One of those two statements is a lie. So, was Amorim the problem? I mean, let's be real. Even though this announcement was shocking and the framing of the whole thing was that it was quite brash, I think a lot of United fans are probably a little bit happy and, maybe even relieved that this happened, at the back of their minds. Even though there's quite a bit of fire and fury at the front of it, just due to all this nonsensical behavior. Ruben Amorim was a lot of things as the United manager. He had a certain swagger to him when he arrived. The press conferences painted a picture of a confident, charismatic man. The results never went his way for a prolonged period in time. In fact, he never managed to win more than 3 Premier League games in a row, to the dismay of this hairy fella. His system wasn't exactly the cup of tea of, I would say, most Manchester United supporters, and it's not the system, all right? It's not the 3-4-3 formation as a whole. It's not that that doesn't work. A lot of teams have had success with it. Ruben Amorim has had success with it. Teams have won the Premier League title with 3 of the back systems. The problem was that his specific flavor of the structure was not working, whether it was the players that he had or his system in general. It clearly just was not optimized to the Premier League. None of it was. And he himself has said this on many occasions. This season, though, things have obviously looked better and have been on an incline. And I'm sure he would argue with you more than most that the correct personnel and midfielders would turn everything in his favor. But the reality is that if you need a complete revamp of the system and personnel to fit your specific playstyle in football, and you aren't at the very least willing to try out a different structure that fits the pieces of the puzzle that you already have until you can get the pieces that you need, and I don't know how you can expect to succeed. So, of course, I do not speak for how United fans feel about this situation, but if I were to guess, I would say that most fans aren't truly upset about the fact that Amorim himself is gone. I'm not sure he did enough to garner such an attachment. It's just the nature of the appointment and the revolving door model. Just a reminder that this is what Ruben Amorim looked like 14 months ago. This club has aged him 10 years in one. You weren't the right man for the job, but I don't blame you for taking it. Go off and enjoy your break, your severance, your family, your health. You deserve it, King. This club is so frustrating. How on earth do you have so much money and so many resources, yet they can't get the absolute basics right? Manchester United might truly be the only club where the common fan has taken an interest in the names and roles of all the people at a director and a support staff level, right down to Larry in accounting. It's because we've all collectively realized that the rot has to be coming from somewhere, and we have people conducting thorough investigations to find the source. It's just so strange. And in terms of recruitment, you vet these guys, their ideas, their ethos, you give reassurance that they'll be given a specific period of time to find a solution. These words are all empty, and everyone knows it. Remember when Ralf Rangnick was appointed as the interim manager, with the intention being to identify the team's shortcomings, then move into a consultancy role to help with the long-term planning, only to choose to leave after seeing how deep the rabbit hole went, and saying that the club needed open-heart surgery to get anywhere. It also seems that there was an aversion to working with Ten Hag, or the other way around. That was just 3.5 years ago. Remember Ten Hag's collapse? 14 months ago. Amorim's? That was today. They keep adding chapters to my United Manager series, and I don't know if it's on purpose or not. So here's where we stand right now. Darren Fletcher has taken over the interim role for the foreseeable future. Funnily enough, he now has the chance to start his own children, and probably won't even be given all that much flack for doing so. Have fun, brother. The season's a write-off. Your guess is as good as mine when it comes to who will ultimately be given the role at the end of the day. Times like this, I'm reminded of what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had to say about Carlo Ancelotti's opinion on the job. How many actual elite coaches are going to want to join clubs like Manchester United and Chelsea, where they're given so many restrictions on how to play football? I don't think that many. So a lot of the names that we're seeing being thrown into the hat about people that are going to come in and eventually be the full-time manager. I just don't see it, because the majority of these guys are quite headstrong, volatile. These are characteristics that make them good coaches, by the way. Oliver Glasner, Roberto De Zerbi, Enzo Maresca, of all people, who just got fired for doing the exact same thing that Ruben Amorim was clearly doing. Some are even saying Thomas Tuchel might jump ship from England after the World Cup, depending on how they do. All of these guys will be out of there before they even step foot on the premises for an interview. But United, I have a solution. If anyone from United is watching this right now, come to me, okay? I know how to fix this problem. Don't hire all these strategists, all these recruiters, whatever. I can find you the perfect man for the job. And I even know the right sales pitch. All I'm saying is that some say Manchester United is like the Disneyland of world football. And there we have it. Crazy start to the week, I know. Chelsea video coming maybe tomorrow. Subscribe if you haven't. That's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one. It sounded weird. And then my brain like shut off halfway through saying the bye.